Good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started this morning. If I could ask the panelists to go ahead and come on up and find your chairs here at the front. I want to get us started. My name is Matt Hammonds. I'm Interim Vice President for University Affairs at the University of Nebraska System. It's a pleasure to see everybody here to hear more about our 4 university-wide institutes. You'll notice on the edges of the room there are tables for each of the 4 institutes, so if you'd like some more information to take home, please feel free to grab that information that's on those 4 tables at the 4 corners of the room. I would like to introduce our moderator for today. I've had the pleasure to work with Susan Fritz for over a decade now. Susan serves as Executive Vice President and Provost and Dean of the Graduate College at the University of Nebraska and has held this role since 2014. She served previously as the Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs since 2011. Before joining the Provost's office, Dr. Fritz served as the Associate Vice Chancellor for the Institute of Agriculture and Natural Resources and Interim Dean of the Agricultural Research Division at UNL. She also directed INR's international agriculture programs and is a former Associate Dean of the College of Agriculture and Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources and Communications, the ALEC program. Dr. Fritz received all 3 of her degrees from UNL, has received numerous awards for teaching excellence, served as a Fulbright Senior Specialist in Croatia, a North Central Higher Education Learning Commission Consultant Evaluator, and a 2012 Baldrige Examiner for the U.S. Department of Commerce. Susan?
Well, good morning and welcome. It's a delight to have all of you with us today for what we hope is the first of perhaps a series of events like this where we bring together our 4 executive directors from the University of Nebraska Institutes. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our panelists. And I'll start first with Robert Hinson. Bob is the National Strategic Research Institute Executive Director. He started in that role August 2012 after serving for 9 years as Vice President of Government Programs and Corporate Lead Executive at Northrop Grumman Corporation. Prior to joining Northrop Grumman, Bob served 33 years in the U.S. Air Force, retiring at the rank of Lieutenant General in September 2003. Before his retirement, he was Vice Commander of Air Force Space Command at Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And he served as commander for several key assignments around the country, including Chief of the Strategic Nuclear Policy Branch on the Joint Staff at the Pentagon. Bob is a command pilot with more than 3,000 flying hours, primarily in B-52s, FB-111s, and B-1 bomber aircraft. Bob has numerous awards and decorations. Bob received a bachelor's degree in education from the University of Tennessee and a master's in humanities in education from Arkansas State University. He also completed the program for senior officials in national security at Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government. Welcome, Bob Hinson. Next to him is our newest executive director of an institute, Peter McCormick. Peter joined the institute after serving as Deputy Director General for Research at the International Water Management Institute in Colombo, Sri Lanka, one of the world's foremost institutions dedicated to improving the management of water and land resources to ensure food security and reduce poverty. He succeeded Roberto Lenton, who became Daugherty Water for Food Institute's founding executive director in 2012, and is returning to his faculty role in the University of Nebraska Lincoln's Department of Biological Systems Engineering. Peter has led interdisciplinary research and development programs on water, agriculture, and the environment in Africa, Asia, the Middle East, and the U.S. His interest areas include water and food security, the water-food energy nexus, water reuse, irrigation management, and water and climate adaptation. Peter earned his doctorate in agricultural engineering from Colorado State University, is a licensed professional civil engineer in the state of Colorado, and a member of the American Academy of Water Resources Engineers. Welcome, Peter. To Peter's left is Samuel J. Mizels, Buffett Early Childhood Institute. Dr. Sam Mizels is one of the nation's leading authorities on the assessment of young children in early childhood development. He came to the Buffett Early Childhood Institute in 2013 to serve as the Institute's founding executive director and undertook an extraordinary first year to launch the Institute and form its programs. A former preschool, kindergarten, and first grade teacher, Dr. Mizels formerly served as president of Erickson Institute in Chicago, one of the country's premier graduate schools in child development. Prior to leading Erickson Institute, Dr. Mizels had a distinguished 21-year tenure at the University of Michigan, where he remains professor emeritus and research scientist emeritus. Dr. Mizels was also a faculty member at Tufts University for 8 years and director of the Elliott Pearson Children's School at Tufts. He graduated magna cum laude from the University of Rochester and received master's and doctoral degrees from the Harvard Graduate School of Education. Welcome, Dr. Mizels. And to Sam's left, welcome Charles P. Schroeder, Rural Futures Institute. Chuck Schroeder is a native of southwestern Nebraska ranch country near the rural community of Palisade. Prior to beginning the role of founding executive director of the Rural Futures Institute at the University of Nebraska in December 2013, Chuck served 12 years as president and executive director of the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Before that, he held other leadership positions in the public, private, and nonprofit sectors, including serving as founding CEO of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Chuck also served as executive vice president and director of development at the University of Nebraska Foundation and director of the Nebraska Department of Agriculture. He has chaired several boards of business and civic organizations and has received awards for his leadership. Chuck is a graduate of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln with a degree in animal science. Welcome, Chuck. For those of you who don't maybe have the long history that some of us do, I'd like to talk just briefly about how we came to have 4 institutes. The University of Nebraska system is invested in 4 interdisciplinary university-wide institutes, each focused on areas in which the university and the state has unique strengths. Through these institutes and through the generosity of donors and the Nebraska unicameral, talented experts from across our 4 campuses come together, finding innovative solutions to challenges that face our state, our nation, and our world. It's by working together across disciplines and sharing perspectives that we create innovative breakthroughs and develop solutions to the complex challenges of our times. These challenges range from the small and the fast to the large and the slow, and they demand the expertise of all of our talent, social scientists, technical science. All of that science needs to come together to help to address these challenges. Therefore, we hope you will take advantage of the rich talent in this room, learning about each other's areas of expertise and finding points of common interest that may lead to valuable collaborations. Our institutes are exceptional examples of the power of collaboration. I'd like to share a short video that highlights the missions of our 4 institutes and the work that they are doing.
The 4 institutes at the University of Nebraska, all created to address significant challenges that face today's world, using talent and research expertise from across the 4 University of Nebraska campuses.
Each one of them is really important in terms of their mission space to Nebraskans, to the University of Nebraska, and to our nation. They really are the glue that helps to tie the university together because of the importance.
The first 8 years of a child's life are critical. What happens during that time determines future success. If a child starts preschool behind, she or he is less likely to stay in school, graduate from college, and become a productive member of society. The Buffett Early Childhood Institute transforms the lives of young children by improving their learning and development.
The Institute and the University of Nebraska are forging a new path for higher education in this nation, a path that's devoted to using the resources, the knowledge base, the research of a great public university on behalf of young children and their families.
The Institute partners with schools, agencies, community organizations, and policymakers across the state to implement early childhood services, programs, and policies. The Buffett Institute's vision? To make Nebraska the best place in the nation to be a baby.
We won't stop until that happens. We intend to change public perceptions. We intend to change regulations and certifications for the workforce. We intend to change the preparation of people who go into the workforce. To reinvent that, the rewards to all of us will be really immeasurable.
National security is one of the most critical issues facing America. Threats range from ISIS to cyber hacking, and the U.S. is subject to increasingly sophisticated attack methods. The National Strategic Research Institute's mission: keep our country safe.
This is the way for this university to get actively engaged and support our national security through our researchers and the facilities that we have here available to us to provide leading-edge technology solutions for the combatant commanders around the globe.
The NSRI leverages University of Nebraska research strengths to support the Department of Defense and U.S. Stratcom. Researchers at NSRI help deliver solutions to significant security threats, including nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons of mass destruction.
We have really embraced the notion of supporting the war fighters and how we contribute to our overall national security, and I think that's something the university can be very proud of as we move forward.
One of today's greatest global challenges is feeding a world population that's rapidly expanding with less stress on scarce water resources. The Robert B. Daugherty Water for Food Global Institute was founded to help the world manage its limited freshwater resources, ensuring food security for current and future generations.
We've actually been relatively successful in increasing food production over the last 3 decades, but that has been with impact on the environment. And now as our environment becomes more constrained, where water becomes more scarce, it becomes more difficult to achieve the same gains in food production.
The Water for Food Global Institute is creating innovative solutions to sustainably manage water. These efforts are guided by key leaders and researchers at the University of Nebraska and supported by national and international partners.
There's over 100 years of research within the University of Nebraska on water and food. There's a lot of knowledge here on how to manage water, the science of managing water and agriculture. To draw on their knowledge to help facilitate the communication of that knowledge towards really developing solutions that will have a real impact on the ground.
In Nebraska and throughout the world, sustaining our rural communities is crucial. Our country was built on the backs of these communities, and we must keep them viable.
As we look at the long-term strength of our nation, we believe it's critically important for Nebraska, for our region, for our country, to have strong, smaller communities that are a legitimate best choice for people looking for a place to build businesses, to raise their family, to get engaged civically in a place where they can make a difference. If we do that, we think we've carried out an important mission.
The Rural Futures Institute focuses on changing outcomes in non-metropolitan areas. By building and supporting local leaders, the RFI helps develop rural communities that are vibrant economically, socially, and culturally.
We take a variety of approaches, but they are all built upon one fundamental principle, and that is productive collaboration across sectors, departments, across campuses. How do we get smart people to collaborate around big issues that are perplexing for rural communities today?
early childhood development, national security, food and water security, growing rural communities. All daunting challenges facing our state, our country, and our world. No one person, team, or institution can meet these challenges alone. That's why we're collaborating across all 4 University of Nebraska campuses.
Those institutes can reach into faculty expertise in Kearney, in Lincoln, and Omaha. It really doesn't matter. The idea is that these institutes have the ability to go look for the most talented individuals to bring resource, to bring brain power to bear on some of the biggest issues that our nation and our world is facing today.
That's an excellent overview, and I understand that will be archived on our website, nebraska.edu, so please feel free to share that with colleagues if the opportunity arises.